Mr. Ramu here. Okay. Rakesh have shared the feedback and resume to you separately.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think Pratik, your voice is a bit low. Can you bit louder or increase the volume, please? Is it better now? Yeah, it's better. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, so I think we can start with some technical discussion. Okay. So just. Mhm. Okay. Okay, so first of all, we can discuss about your brief introduction to start with. Yeah, sure. Thanks for giving this opportunity. And my name is Ramu. I have 12 plus years of experience in .NET technology. My career was started as ASP.NET and after that MEC. Presently, I'm working with .NET Core and Azure, the cloud and microservices. Coming to, I have completed my MCA from Acharya Nagarjuna University. I was working as a team lead in current organization. As well as I am the part of Center of Excellence team to do the POCs with the different problem statements, the implementation and showcase to the clients, and the implementation into the exact original project, as well as getting a more work from the client as well. Apart from these things, I do have exposure on databases, SQL Server, Oracle, and MongoDB. I do have exposure in client-side technologies, jQuery, and I am not excellence on Angular, but I can able to comfortable. Basically, we have two teams like Apex team and Capex team to do that implementation as well as issues fixing along with regular it's a small organization kind of the people whenever it is the help is needed from the other project we can able to go there and help them to build up the solution from the scratch or already existing project we can make to improve the performance or improve that efficiency. So kind of I was working with the different roles and I was working with the under architect 3 years and I was also able to build that own solution with my own as well. This is what a high level I can say from my side. Okay. Yeah. So you said you have 12 plus years of experience. I mean, I can see in your resume, right? Yeah. So when did you start your career? October 12. October 12. Yeah. So how come it is 12 years? Yeah, because right? Yeah, because I was taking as a 6 months as a internship. That is also I am including, but whenever it is not rated, I am removing those 6 months period as a project, college project. Yeah. Because in 20, we are in 2022, right? Mm-hmm. And it's June month going on. Mm-hmm. By add 6 months, then it doesn't become 12 plus. It would become around 10 years, right? Okay. I need to. Am I missing something? You started in 20. No, I started as 2012. 2012. Yeah. Now it is 2022, right? Mm-hmm. Why you are mentioning 12 plus? I think it's 11 plus, but yeah, I need to update the resume, but I haven't. Yeah. Yeah. I can say it says 10 plus. Yeah. It's around 11. Plus, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So Persistent is your current company, right? Yeah. So are you Pune or which? Hyderabad. Hyderabad. Yeah. Okay. And which is your native place? I am from Andhra Pradesh.
Okay. And are you okay to relocate to Noida if required?
At least I need at least 1 year work from home. After that, I can able to. But there are some of the things dependencies are there. Meanwhile, it is not
Okay.
possible. Within 1 year, it is not possible.
Within 1 year, and after 1 year, you are okay to
Yeah,
relocate,
okay
right?
to relocate there after 1 year.
Okay. Uh, okay. Got it. So, okay. So maybe we can discuss about some technical questions. So do you have like experience with microservices?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me like how the different microservices interact with each other?
Yeah, basically the microservices each they will interact each other by using asynchronous communication by using service bus. It's a service bus. We can use the different messaging systems like RabbitMQ we can use, and Azure we have that the queues concepts are there. Basically, we will use the RabbitMQ based on the technology, based on the implementation. We can go ahead with the asynchronous mechanism. The sender will send a message to the queue, and a receiver or a subscriber will get the messages from the queue whenever it is getting. And based on the communication, it will use that as a correlation ID. Based on the receiver, what it is happened, based on correlation ID, we will send as again request to the sender. Sender will update the exact status in the database. Because each service is usually used to has a separate databases. In those cases, the data has to be consistent and it has to be used as a unique ID as a correlation ID between the two services.
Okay. And so how much experience you have with microservices? I would ask.
Yeah, 2 years.
Three,
2 2 years.
2 years. Okay. And like, have you worked on any project in which you have to convert application which is monolithic into microservices?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about that application?
Yeah.
How you converted it into microservices?
Yeah, basically the thing is we need to first of all divide the schema. As of now, like if it is a monolithic application, we are using single database, all the tables and all the stored procedures and everything is under a single database. If you come to the microservices, it's a concept of it's a better. It will give you more performance if you are trying to use the database segregation with the different schemas. In those case, we first of all we need to identify what are the tables and what are the dependent things on the particular table. We have to divide into the schema, into the DB level, and coming to the code level, we have to identify what are the individual components are. It's a independent components, not individual components. We have to identify, and we have to identify what is the relationship between any of the component which are depend on each other. Each other are it's a depends on the one on other. In those cases, we have to identify those things, and we have to make as a note down of what are the points we need to consider as when we are moving from monolith to microservice. Then we can divide a separate solutions, and we can create a CI/CD for each solution. Whenever it is needed, it will be creating the pipeline. It will be deployed.
Okay. So, um, so I mean, the project on which you worked, like, can you explain me about a little bit about that? What it was all about?
Yeah, it's a catering domain, airline catering domain. Basically, it's an ERP. It will try to what it will do is it is a food preparing platform. In each international airports, we have the canteens. It's a catering system. We will get as an order from the clients like Lufthansa, Air India, Air Canada, like that. The application was hosted in all the regions, UK, US, Latam, and all the regions. In India, in India also we have Hyderabad is one location is there, one catering unit, get government. What is the basically it will do is all the customer will provide us an input of the food items for a particular flight and particular time. the food has to be prepared before the flight has to be flying. We will take as an input of the information from the client, as well as we need to prepare, we need to get that all the information from the vendors in terms of what are the items are needed for preparing the particular item. Those are all the things has to be gathered. We have that material management, vendor management, inventory management, and customer management. All the things has to be different modules, and these will be preparing the food and will serve the food to that flights on a particular time. Before 2 hours or 3 hours, our galley will go to the picture and they will be placing the food items into the particular galley or door, whatever the information which was provided by the aircraft version. And the client will pay the fees in terms of invoices. We have to our application also, like the customer has to pay the fees to the invoices to the vendors. If you want to prepare a one meal, I need to buy the 50 grams of the rice and water and spoons and all the information. It is kind of in ERP. It also involving in that SAP system, MuleSoft system, because each customer is having the different interfaces, and we are also giving an API to interact with the different customers. They are also will give us and file uploads. It is involved in all the phases of ERP system of food catering management.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, REST service I have worked. RESTful service I have worked, and REST service is a kind of web services I have worked. But I have only the 6 months of experience on web services. RESTful services I do have the 2 years.
You don't have much experience using on this.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, if you like, I mean, you're saying that you had some experience, right? 6 months experience. So,
Mhm.
I mean, what do you know about RESTful?
REST is a representation stage transfer protocol. Basically, it will try to send that information in terms of the representational. It is trying to identifying the based on the verbs and based on input parameters. Uh, it has to follow some standards to identify the particular endpoint and to send the data in terms of a specific standard. For example, if you want to send the data in query string and other information, it is not like that. If you follow some standards, it has to be hit that particular endpoint to getting the data. Everything is in terms of the some standards only.
Different type of request we can send. Okay.
Yeah, get, put, post, delete, patch, and the head also, but I haven't used the head.
Between post and patch.
Yeah, post will update of all the information, whatever the information which was getting from the object. Patch will update only the specific information. For example, in the object I have the 10 properties. In the patch, it will update all the information of the 10 properties. In post, it will all update of all the properties. In patch, it will update only that whatever the fields we got it from the particular request. It won't update of all the properties which was not there in the request as well.
Okay. And do you have experience with entity framework?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about the entity framework?
Yeah, entity framework is a ORM tool which will we have the different kind of approaches are there: DB first, code first, and database first. We are using basically it depends on the project. For example, if it is in a migration project, we don't want to change the database and other things. We will go with the database first approach. Database is already well defined. We can go ahead with the database first approach. And if it is the project which was starting from the new, we will go with the code first approach. Based on the code, it will try to create the tables in a ORM tool, and we will try to use that link queries or it's based on the link queries or in memory collection, enumerable or like that. We will try to get the data and we will try to perform an operation.
Do working on authentication and authorization.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I have.
Authentication.
Yeah, yeah. Authentication is a kind of validation the user information. User is valid or not. Authorization is a kind of providing the access, whether it is even though if it is a valid user, is having the rights particular permission or not. We have used the JWT token identity server for in .NET Core, and I do have exposure on OAuth2 and OpenID Connect authorization code flow. These are the two code flows we have used, as well as we have implemented as we have to consume that OAuth2 and OpenID Connect, which was one of the client was provided as well. Implementing of the code is done, and consuming of the OAuth2 OpenID Connect also we have done, and we have implemented our identity server for JWT token, access token, refresh token. If the token is invalid, based on the refresh token, they will try to create a new token, and checking of the subject ID, whether the user is based on the clients, the user is having an access of a particular endpoint or particular action or not. These are all the things that comes under the authentication and authorization.
Okay. So who generates this authentication token?
In my application, we are only generating that authentication JWT token by using the private key.
Can you tell me the complete flow?
Yeah. For example, we first of all we do generate a private key. The private key has to be shared to that all the customers, whatever the customers are trying to consume it. Whenever they are trying to the customer has to be generate the token, and the token is to be validated here. What I'm saying is, I'm saying on irrespective of OAuth2 and OpenID. I'm saying in whatever in my project we have implemented. In OAuth2 and OpenID Connect, they have to be registered that application. The client ID and client secret we have to provide them. They will send that information to get that the token. There are two steps. They have to request that authentication code flow. Our server will give us an authorization code. An authorization code has to be passed again to get that access token. The access token will return to the client, and the client will use that access token for each and every request to validate to get the resources. That is the OAuth2 and OpenID Connect. In my application, we have implemented as a JWT token validation the private key used by the client, and they will generate the token, and they will pass the token to us, and our authentication server which will authentication service which will take as an the JWT token and verify the signature and header and all the payload information. Basically, it will try to check in the signature and hashing mechanism, and it will validate. If it is valid, it will try to give us the token is valid by using one of the middleware in .NET Core. We can implement middleware, and we will try to move the request to the next piece of middleware, or throwing back from the current middleware.
So suppose some other user, which is basically not the intended user, receives this authentication token, and if he uses that token to call any of your services, so how will you identify that this is not the intended user, which is trying to connect to your service?
You mean to say whatever the token which will already which is this the token is valid, you mean to say here?
Yes, token is valid. Suppose some other user, which is not the intended user or the legitimate user,
Okay.
except suppose he has received that token somehow. Okay, and if he tries to use that particular token to call any of your service, so how will you identify that this request is not coming from the legitimate user?
It's a good question. As part of my understanding, we can able to provide some kind of abstraction to check whether the request is coming from the valid domain or not. We have to, if there is any concept of the customers are using this kind of domain or something, we can able to check the domain. If the request is coming from the correct domain, you can able to allow it. If it is not, we will be restricted. But in this case, if the user is trying to use the same token without changing of any of the information, it will allow. It should allow.
Okay. And so how will you restrict or how will you restrict the user from a particular domain to connect to your application? I mean, how will you allow a specific set of users which are coming from a particular domain?
Yeah, we have a concept of cross origin resource sharing CORS. We can able to set it up what are the allowed domains as a string array of parameters, and I will take as an input of user ID as a subject from the token, and I will get that what are the allowed origins or domains in our database, and I will check what are the allowed origin with respect to the current origin. If it is not matching with any of the condition, link of any, for example list.id, it will not match, it will throw as a false, and I will return as this is the invalid request.
So where exactly how will you set up this information?
Yeah.
I want to allow in this particular IP address or particular domain. Where exactly you do this setting?
In the middleware, I can create my custom middleware. This middleware will, after authentication or after authentication, I will try to check whether it is a current. After authentication is valid, I will try to check as this will return to our custom middleware. I will write a custom middleware. I will call that middleware by using the use when or map when. It will try to divide that current request to the sub request, and it will try to check it, and it will validate, and it will proceed further, and it will return it.
So first we will check about the authentication or about
yeah, it's a kind of two-way process. We can first of all, as part of our requirement, we have to do as a domain. Otherwise, yeah, for example, if you are thinking the token is valid or not, then only we can check the domain. We can do that, but as part of your question, we will check the domain itself.
Okay. Do you have used any design process?
Yeah, I have used the singleton factory, dependency injection, CQRS repository. Design patterns I have used here.
Can you tell me about the abstract factory?
Abstract factory theoretical I know, but implementation side I haven't implemented. In the only the difference between the factory and abstract factory class we have only the one the final class will be taking care for the creation of an object. In the abstract factory, each factory is having their own abstract class which will define what is the object I have to be written on the based on the request.
Okay. And singleton?
Yeah, singleton basically it will allow us to create one and only one object. If you want to create a multiple object, basically these are the things we can use as a DB connection and the logger class creation object like that. It will allow only any one of all the users. It is a single user or multiple users or global users are using an application. It will allow us to create only one object, and it will try to use that all the object throughout the application. It won't create a duplicate objects.
So how will you make sure that that are not simultaneously creating one object?
Yeah, we have a locking mechanism, locking mechanism by using the wait or mutex. Yeah, 3 types of the lockings are there. Lock is one of the object level locking we can do, or in the semaphore mutex or release the thread, we can do that one. We need to check on the some logic. We need to check what is the whether it is an object is null or not. Then only it is trying to create an object. Otherwise, it won't create an object like that. We have to be locked whenever multiple threads are trying to access on the singleton instance.
Okay. So suppose so how many null checks you want to have while blocking the text?
Only one.
practices that you will ask your team to use if you are working on a project from scratch? What best practices you would ask your team to use?
Yeah. The best practices, in my point of view, everyone has to follow the code consistency. For example, the developer one is declared as an integer, developer 2 may be declared as int 32. It would not be good practices. The code should be consistent mode, and we have to be taking care of all the exception handling in it's a kind of a global exception handling. If something is missing on the, for example, we need to take care of exception handling for a black wise as well as global exception handling. If something is broken down, the application should not break. And we need to think about in a larger point of view in a reusable concept. Like whenever we are trying to develop one of the point to getting the data from the database as a multiple result set. In those case, we can focus on making that block of code as a common. Then other developers can make use of this common code as a utility class or as a utility library or somewhere. It's a kind of reusability, and it will getting time saved as well as the performance as well. Single point of place we can change it, and it has to be we need to take care of all the null handling exception. We have to follow the best coding standards, naming conventions of the method and classes, unused variables. Everyone has to follow the full request like that. There are some standards we have to be make sure that if you are designing from the scratch.
Okay. Okay. Got it. I'm done. So, do you have any questions?
Yeah. What is exactly the role the looking for a particular project? I just want to know. I am getting from one of the information from the recruiter. I am getting from first level of the information in some other way. I just want to be clear. What is your exactly the expectation? Suppose if I got selected, what is my role?
Okay. See, there are multiple requirements we have in this project.
Okay.
Okay. And again, there is multiple projects we have to. One project in which there are most of the vacancies are there. It has the requirement of developer and then tech lead, then architect, all type of requirements we have. So we are looking for person who has experience on .NET Core with microservices. Okay, and we should be familiar with the SEO code. Okay, so these are kind of the mandatory requirements. You should be having a good knowledge of these at least. And then if you have experience with entity framework and REST services, so that is basically good to have. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So based on your experience and how your experience goes, we will try to fit you in any of these requirements. Okay. So it could be. I think you have 10 plus years of experience, so I think you could go for the team lead role. I think that's what is conveyed to you by also, right?
HR is conveyed as a architect, lead architect.
Okay, but your experience is I can see it's 10 plus. But you have mentioned 12 plus. So maybe there is some you haven't given the right information in your resume, right? So we'll see. I mean, so we have. I think we have this is the second round, right?
Yeah.
So there could be one more round, and depending on how you perform that round, we'll decide
Okay.
which tool we can offer you.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
any other question?
Yeah, that's all from my end. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for clarification.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Then thank you now.
Thank you.
It was
Bye.
nice talking to you.
Yeah. Bye.